Why did the US military leave behind 85 billion worth of weapons in Afghanistan? Was it to destabilize the whole Middle East, as it was done in the past, or was it a blunder? See, the Americans don't see Afghanistan as part of the Middle East. They see the Middle East as one geographical region, and they see the Afghanistan Pakistan region as another geographical region. They call it AFPAC, which is part of the larger so-called South Asia region in American eyes. Okay, so uh, leaving behind so much weaponry in Afghanistan will not destabilize the Middle East in any way. It will actually strengthen the Taliban, because the Taliban has come into has become the custodian of all this weaponry. 85 billion. I'm not sure if that is the right number. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I have not actually evaluated what is the exact monetary value of the weaponry that the Americans have left behind. It's definitely in the tens of billions of dollars. It may be 85, possibly billions worth. So the Taliban now is in possession of all this weaponry, and it strengthens the Taliban a lot. Some people have been reporting that the Taliban have been sending some of it to Pakistan. That is not the case. The Taliban will keep it for themselves. Now we're going to see a kind of power struggle of some sort. The ISI will try to consolidate their hold over the Taliban. The ISI means the Pakistan Army and the establishment. They will try and establish some sort of leverage with the Taliban, which they had in the past. Now it's kind of evaporated. The Russians will want to influence the Taliban. The Chinese will want to influence the Taliban. The Americans also will want to influence the Taliban in some way. So we're not really sure why the Americans have left behind so much weaponry. The only explanation is that they want the Taliban to be free to some extent from external influences. For instance, in the past, the Pakistanis had a great deal of leverage with the Taliban. The Taliban owed everything to Pakistan. It was created by the ISI during the time of Benazir Bhutto. It was armed by the ISI and the Pakistanis using American weaponry. The funds that the Taliban received were given by the Pakistanis, that funding came from the US again. So the Pakistanis were the middlemen, and all the weaponry and funds and everything was coming from the US, and the Taliban was benefiting from this. So the Taliban was completely under the control of the Pakistanis. Now what's happened is that in the absence of any resistance, they have been able to take over the country almost overnight, and they have come into possession of all this weaponry, $85 billion perhaps worth of weaponry, and so much cash also, and so much other things. So it's like they are now a legitimate government almost, and they no longer depend on Pakistan to some extent, especially if the Chinese get involved and the Russians get involved, because the Chinese and the Russians don't really trust the Pakistanis. They see the Pakistanis as mercenaries. Essentially, they will play each side against each other. So that's what's happening. So Americans clearly wanted the Taliban to break free from Pakistan to some extent. So it is not to destabilize the Middle East. It seems like it is to establish the Taliban as a legitimate and strong political player, geopolitical player in the region. It looks like that was the intention.